I'd been locked in open and covert strife with Ethan Shaw for 6 years. He was responsible for my mother's fall from height that left her permanently paralyzed, while I leaked company secrets that bankrupted him. Everyone thought we'd torture each other for a lifetime. When we met again, he had already made a comeback, answering reporters' questions with smooth confidence. Back then, we classmates used to say we'd find someone to love at 18, get married by 25, and have a child before 28. Ethan, how far along are you with that plan? Nearly engaged. Then you're officially the fastest among us here. I spun the ring on my ring finger. In truth, I'd already checked off all 3 items on that list. 1. The girl walking through the door was Ethan Zhao's fiancée. She was young, beautiful, and polite, nodding to each of us before taking a seat beside Ethan Shaw. He didn't look at the person beside him but kept his gaze fixed on me. I could feel the probing stares from everyone around me. Years ago, my affair with Ethan Shaw had become public knowledge. I picked up my bag and walked out, but the 2 people beside me thought I was about to charge over and tear that girl's face apart. They instinctively grabbed hold of me. I raised an eyebrow and looked at them both. Haha, Chloe, where are you going? To the restroom. Oh, haha, alright. They awkwardly laughed as they sat back down. Before leaving, I could still hear their hushed whispers. It's been 2 years, but Chloe seems to have mellowed quite a bit. Absolutely, I was terrified just now. With her old personality, she would have scratched Lily's face clean off. After 2 years she still can't let go. The moment she saw Lily, she couldn't handle it and had to leave to compose herself. Since everything's fine, have them withdraw the security first. Only after stepping outside did I notice the 2 rows of bodyguards standing at the door. They looked slightly nervous when they saw me. The leader touched his earpiece before leading the team away. I sat on the outdoor lawn making a phone call to my daughter. She was telling me the new story she learned today over the phone. Ethan Shaw's interview also moved outside. We always spot each other in a crowd at first glance. Mr. Shaw, regarding your past victimization and bankruptcy, do you have anything you'd like to say to that person? He chuckled lightly and turned to the camera. I saw her today. Those eyes of hers are still so beautiful. Given the chance, I'd personally pluck them out to make a necklace for my fiancé. Everyone present was shocked by his words, but it was just a harsh remark. Nothing compared to the hatred we'd harbored for each other over the past 6 years. Did you take any revenge back then? I paralyzed her mother. Does that count? I swayed the wine glass, glancing at the children's story app on my phone while soothing my daughter calmly. My indifferent attitude infuriated Ethan Shaw. Or perhaps, between the 2 of us, no reason is needed to wish the other a miserable death. Ethan Shaw sat beside me, a finger pressed against my phone. He glanced at it and burst into laughter. Funeral dirges suit you better. Ethan Shaw introduced the person behind him. Lily, this is our university classmate, Chloe Miller. Lily Vance extended her hand toward me with a sweet smile. Chloe, it's nice to meet you. I'm Lily Vance, Ethan's fiancée. Just as they were anticipating I'd throw a dramatic tantrum, I simply uttered a light-hearted, hello. 2. Ethan Shaw narrowed his eyes, as if trying to see right through me. Then he snorted contemptuously, clearly thinking I was overacting. When Ethan Shaw went for his interview, Lily Vince grabbed my hand. You're so pretty. I heard Ethan's ex-girlfriend of 6 years is here today. Do you know who she is? I couldn't be bothered to guess whether she was telling the truth. I pulled my hand away and wiped it fastidiously with a handkerchief. Sorry, I'm a bit of a neat freak, Lily Vince murmured, blushing with embarrassment. Chloe, stop pretending. You've been a bitch since college, and 2 years apart hasn't changed your acting skills one bit. Zach Shaw slouched casually across from me. Come on, Zach, that's not fair. Miss Miller isn't like that. Lily, you've only met her once and she's already fooled you. I've known her for 6 years. If it weren't for her, how could my brother have gone bankrupt? What do you mean, Lily? Don't you get it? She's that bitch who was my brother's first love. Zach provocatively spat his gum in my direction. I blocked it with my bag, stood up, and slammed the bag into Zach's face. Chloe, what do you mean by that? Do you really think I'm on the same level as you? I'm the second young master of the Shao family. Who the hell do you think you are to dare lay a finger on me? Don't you believe my brother will chop your fingers off if I tell him to? Your Shao family means nothing to me. I made them go bankrupt once, and I can do it a second time. The sudden outburst disrupted the progress of their interview. Ethan Shao rushed back. I lowered my head to examine the gum stain on my white bag. I'm obsessive about cleanliness. Raising my bag to stare at the person before me, $100,000. You dare ask my brother for such pocket change? Doing this on purpose, aren't you? Seems you haven't improved much these past 2 years, though your skills at seducing men certainly have. I was about to hurl my bag when Ethan Shao tightened his grip around my wrist. What did you say the previous sentence was? $100,000. One more line. I thought for a moment, unsure if this was the sentence he wanted. Since he wanted to hear it, so be it. If I can bankrupt you once, I can bankrupt you a second time. Ethan Shaw laughed. It was his first genuine laugh of the evening. You're much easier on the eyes when you're not pretending. I withdrew my hand, freezing mid-swing, but then he deliberately leaned his face forward. If that slap lands, I'll make sure your mother stays a vegetable forever. I'd been too disgusted to hit him, but after those words, my palm struck him solidly. Zach charged over first. You actually hit him? Are you fucking insane? He grabbed me by the neck, and I yanked his hair. The glass stool slammed into Zach, blood streaming down his head. I picked up a shard of glass and slashed it across Ethan Shaw's arm. With overwhelming force, Ethan Shaw shoved me into the pool. We ended up in this disgraceful brawl. I hear you've been taking care of your mother these past 2 years. Must be exhausting. How about I arrange an accident for you? Then you won't have to suffer anymore. Those eyes of yours are truly beautiful. If I gouged them out to propose to Lily, it'd be quite the sight. I didn't waste as many words as he did. Keeping my gaze fixed on his chest, I drove the knife straight in. I wanted to see just how long he could keep acting tough while running his mouth. Then tremblingly he told me to use more force, but the imagined scene didn't unfold. Lily then stepped in front of him, blood blossoming across her white dress. Take whatever madness you have out on me. Why hurt her? Don't you know she's got hemophilia? I twisted harder with my hand. Now I do. Chloe, don't drag family into this. Oh, so my mom deserved to be paralyzed then? 3. Without a shred of mercy, I pushed Lily Vince into the swimming pool. The blood on the blade was wiped onto Ethan Shaw's shirt. No one dared to step forward in the face of such a sudden situation. Ethan Shaw called me crazy, yet those eyes of his held far more palpitation than accusation. Crazy? Isn't this exactly what you wanted? From the moment I arrived at this party, he's been pushing me. I've been fighting with Ethan Shaw for so long that I nearly forgot how we used to love each other. On the day Ethan Shaw proposed to me, I sold his company's confidential files. The day I agreed to marry him, he had someone pull the plug on my mother's ventilator. The day he got into a car accident and went abroad for treatment, tubes covered his body. When he saw me coming, he lifted his oxygen mask with his own hands and bit my lip corner fiercely. Chloe, if I die, promise me in our next life, marry me, and let's stop tormenting each other, okay? He collapsed slowly from lack of oxygen, and I shook my head at his hopeful eyes. We don't have a next life. In the hospital, Ethan Shaw rolled up his sleeves. We're the same blood type. Take mine. If it's not enough, drain me dry. By the time he walked out of the blood donation room, he was swaying on his feet. He gripped my shoulders, desperate to prove himself. Chloe, do you see now? I've learned how to love someone. Brother, you've drawn too much blood. You're not thinking clearly. Brother, let me help you hold you up. Ethan Shaw shoved Zach away. Get lost, he growled. I'm sober enough. He looked at me again. Do you see now? I already know how to love someone. I could pick anyone at random and love them deeply. Don't you understand? The red and blue police lights cast their glow across our profiles. I pushed him toward Zach. Being germophobic, I patted the spots he'd just touched. The police are here. Time to give your statement. I'll cover her medical bills. Chloe, I surrender first. Let's just spare each other. I didn't answer him. I'd actually let him go 2 years ago. At the police station, we were locked in separate interrogation rooms. After completing the statement, I just sat there. The arguing voices from the next room grew louder and louder. Brother, you can fool others, but can you fool me? Is this another one of your new tricks? Knowing she doesn't want to marry you, you're determined to make her yours just to spite her. What about Lily then? Right, Lily is so obedient. Even if you asked her to be your mistress, she'd agree. I'm serious. But until she agrees, I won't break it off with Lily. She's still young. A sudden breakup would crush her. Bro, Chloe won't hear us, right? After a long pause, Ethan Shaw's voice finally came through. If she heard, she wouldn't hesitate to slap us both. She's not here, which means she didn't hear anything. I found it amusing and lowered my head to make a call. Hey, come pick me up. In less than 10 minutes, an officer came to call me. Chloe, your family is here to take you home. All right, thanks. After signing here, you're free to go. Leaving the room, I passed by theirs. Zach asked mockingly, family? Doesn't she just have a mom? And isn't her mom paralyzed? Friends, huh? Zach suddenly couldn't help himself and laughed as he opened the door. Officer, who came to pick up that Chloe just now? 4. What's it to you? Go back inside. Officer, don't be like that. Zach stood on tiptoe, peering toward the hallway corner. Didn't see Chloe, but I did spot one kid. Bro, Dad's here to pick us up. Should we run out and take a look? Besides friends, does she have any other relatives in this city? Let's head home first. We have that collaboration meeting with the Hawthorne family tomorrow. Outside the police station, Damien Hawthorne opened the car door for me. How did attending a party land you at the police station? Our daughter bounced excitedly in the back seat, flailing her arms. Of course, we beat up the bad guys. Mom was amazing. I reached out and ruffled her hair. I'll tell you when we get back. Damien glanced at me. If I'd known you couldn't hold yourself back, I should have gone with you. It's fine. Damien suddenly thought of something. Is he coming to the Hawthorne family's dinner party tomorrow? He should be. Didn't Jenna say you two still had projects to discuss? Damien tapped the central control screen and dialed Jenna Clark's number. Mr. Hawthorne. Does the Hawthorne family have any collaboration with the Shaw family? Yes, the main purpose of Ethan Shaw's return this time was to build connections with the Hawthornes. It's just that the project was too minor, so I didn't report it to you. From now on, update me immediately on any news about Ethan Shaw. Also, reschedule tomorrow's meeting to take place during the evening banquet. Very well, Mr. Hawthorne, I sighed. You go ahead with your work. At least it's an ex-boyfriend. I wouldn't mind meeting him. Alright. Did you see the message I sent you earlier? Yes. I had Jenna contact the hospital about the payment, but that person had already been discharged. Discharge? I knew exactly how deep that knife had gone. Even if it had been a grown man I stabbed, he'd have been in serious trouble, let alone some frail young girl. But no one could stop her from making her own choice. I didn't give it another thought. As for that daytime news scandal, Damien had already taken care of it. I had a peaceful sleep too. The next day, Jenna took her daughter away for a photo shoot. Damien urgently went to the company. Meanwhile, I stayed home changing clothes. In these 2 years of emotional recovery, I've always done relaxing things at home, like painting, flower arranging, tasting tea, or playing the piano and doing design work. So I rarely go out. If Damien comes today, it will be our first public appearance together. I dressed up a bit more extravagantly, wearing a striking red mermaid gown. When we arrived at the venue, the Hawthorne family's imposing bodyguards finally sprang into action. Madam, one said, have Damien come find me when he arrives. Very well, madam, do watch your step. The moment she entered, she drew numerous gazes. Who is that? Such grand airs. When old man Sterling comes to the Hawthorne's territory, his bodyguards don't even bat an eye. Why would they open an umbrella and hold the door for her? I've been moving in the ladies' circles for years. She is quite beautiful, but I truly haven't seen her before. Look, not a single drop of rain on her, while I'm standing here in 4-inch heels with soaked feet. Tisk, these Hawthorne bodyguards really judge people by their appearance. It was raining quite heavily outside. The ladies and gentlemen were all looking at me, grumbling with displeasure. Little did they know, if even a single drop of water stained my hem, they would be punished. Miss Miller, Mr. Shaw requests your presence. I glanced at Ethan Shaw sitting at the corner table, raising his glass toward me. Several bodyguards stood before me with their hands clasped behind their backs. Little did they know, this single act of blocking the doorway nearly triggered a level 1 security response. I gave a reassuring glance to the team captains among the bodyguards upstairs. Then I took a seat on the sofa opposite Ethan Shaw. You're looking exceptionally handsome today, accompanied by Lily Vance at his side. Struggling to leave the hospital, his face was ghastly pale. What an extravagant entrance you've made. To be able to come here. It seems I've underestimated you these past 2 years. Do I really need your approval? He smiled as he poured me a drink. Dressed so beautifully and heading straight to the second floor. What, trying to catch a big fish? Let me guess. The Starlings? Or the Rockefeller family? Ethan Shaw was adept at reading people. Neither, huh? TSK, then it must be the Hawthornes? When I remained silent, he poured the wine carelessly. Lily Vince clenched her teeth in pain as she reached for the bottle in his hand, warning him, Ethan. Ethan Shaw slammed the wine bottle heavily onto the table. How many lives do you have to dare fish for something that big? Forget the Hawthornes, even one sterling is enough to kill you 9 times over. Without an invitation, you'd better think twice before going up. It might end badly. An invitation? Ethan Shaw sneered. I suggest you stay right where you are and stop finding new ways to get yourself killed in this place. I crooked a finger at the bodyguard. Since when do you need a pass to go upstairs? The bodyguards I pointed at instantly tensed up before bowing uniformly in my direction. Wherever you wish to go, no one can stop you. I waved them off, signaling they should carry on with their duties. Turning around, I faced Ethan Shaw's grim expression. Just who exactly are you? 5. Someone will tell you in a moment, I said as I picked up my bag and headed upstairs. As soon as I reached the upper floor, the executives all came forward to propose toasts. I casually picked up a cup of green tea. My apologies everyone, I'm not feeling well today. Tea will have to substitute for wine. Of course, they said. First time meeting Mrs. Hawthorne, this drink is for you. After they had all dispersed, I turned around and looked toward the corner downstairs. Ethan Shaw's face was dark as ink, his gaze piercing as he stared at me. As Jenna appeared, she first went to Ethan Shaw's side. Then, several of them came upstairs along with Zach, who arrived late. Zach looked up, glancing around at the furnishings on the second floor. Of course Mr. Hawthorne appreciates us. We're about to become business partners. Who here isn't cooperating with the Hawthorne family? After coming up, you should still keep a low profile. Just as they were speaking, Zach spotted me and instantly looked displeased. How is she here too? Who allowed you to come up with us? Get out. Hey, Assistant Clark, she's not one of us. Of course I know that. Given your status, you're truly unworthy to reach high. Assistant Clark, you've misunderstood. I wasn't referring to Miss Rockwell, but to the one in front of her. Jenna interrupted Zach. Since you've all changed seats, I'll go report back to Mr. Hawthorne now. Hey, Clark, Zach glared at me. Bitch, what the hell are you staring at? Keep looking and I'll gouge your eyes out. Zach's arrogance vanished completely, because he realized that from the moment he finished speaking, all the bodyguards on the second floor were glaring at him fiercely. Not just the bodyguards, other wealthy guests were also looking at them with disgust and keeping their distance. Even if Zach were a fool, he could see it clearly. He instantly sat obediently in the corner, shrinking his neck like a quail. Bro, do you think the way they're looking at us is a bit weird? Shut up. Oh, fine. After all, today is about cooperation, so I'll let her off for now. The melodious music in the hall had faded. The host smiled and began his opening remarks. The dinner dishes began to be served. Mr. Hawthorne is tied up with official business and will arrive later. Mrs. Hawthorne will perform the champagne tower ceremony. Everyone applauded. Now I had reached the circular platform on the first floor. Is that Mrs. Hawthorne? First time seeing her. She's stunning. Absolutely. She has such elegance, especially with that beauty mark by the corner of her eye. I stepped onto the circular platform as the host went to fetch the champagne. Smiling, I struck a few poses for the camera. Hey bro, how did she get up there? Chloe, are you deaf? They were talking about Mrs. Hawthorne. Don't you know your place? You're just trying to mess with the Hawthornes on purpose, aren't you? Get down here now. All eyes were drawn to Zach. Zach was desperately trying to explain. She's fake. Don't believe her. Chloe, you, When I looked up again, the security chief was standing where Zach had been. I poured the champagne into the champagne tower, only to notice a figure appearing beside me. With so many people watching, are you trying to embarrass the Hawthorne family? Zach was just reminding you out of kindness. Why would you send someone after him? I sent someone? These people were merely protecting the Hawthorne family's reputation. It's already generous we didn't tear out Zach's tongue. Come down, come down. I hadn't expected Ethan Shaw to reach up and grab me, but before he could touch me, a large hand had already restrained him. Mr. Shaw seems quite interested in my wife. 6. At Damien Hawthorne's appearance, everyone in the room hastily stood up, bowing respectfully toward the circular platform. Have a seat. Damien wrapped his arm around my waist. Tonight, at the Hawthorne family banquet, I'd like to introduce everyone to my wife. I hope you'll remember this face from now on. Provoke me, and there might still be room for negotiation, but provoke my wife. Don't blame me for cutting off your financial lifelines. Damien raised his glass and downed the drink in one go, while the others hastily lifted their cups in response. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Ethan Shaw clenching his fist. What do you say, Mr. Shaw? Damien turned his head, and Ethan Shaw still hadn't recovered, taking a long while to come back to his senses. Yes, Mr. Hawthorne is correct, he said, glancing at me with the corners of his eyes tinged red. As the banquet drew to a close, Ethan Shaw cornered me outside the restroom. Chloe, are you trying to drive me to my death? Why would you do this? I took a step back to keep my distance from him. I can accept you not loving me, but why don't you even hate me anymore? Chloe, am I truly not even worth a flicker of emotion in your heart anymore? Yes. Ethan Shaw had been drinking, but his eyes were sober. He looked at me pleadingly. I've learned how to love. My joy, my anger, my every emotion is tied to you. Please, divorce him. I'm begging you. Ethan Shaw knelt before me, tears already streaming down his face as he looked up. I watched his shattered state, feeling completely devoid of any emotion inside. No hatred, no irritation. It was like observing something entirely inconsequential. I'm sorry, but I love Damien, and I love Rosie. He frowned in confusion. Rosie? Who? As luck would have it, my daughter came running over in her princess dress. Mommy, my daughter laughed while hugging my leg. Mommy, I picked her up and asked, what brings you here? Daddy said you were chatting with Uncle here. Daddy and I waited so long, but you never came out. I couldn't wait any longer, so I came in. I tapped my daughter's nose playfully. Little rascal. My daughter exclaimed in surprise, Uncle, why are you kneeling on the floor? Ethan Shaw's eyes were completely blank, his gaze gradually growing intoxicated. He stared at my daughter with longing and covetousness, propping his head with one hand. Tears fell one by one. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Uncle. Why are you crying? My daughter struggled to get out of my arms. She took tissues from her little bunny bag. The hallway suddenly darkened. I looked up to see a figure blocking the way. Time to go home. Okay. Holding my daughter's hand, I said, let's go, Rosie. Rosie held my hand, glancing back at him twice. Uncle, bye-bye. Mommy and Daddy are taking me home now. Ethan Shaw looked up, his eyes bloodshot. On my way out, I saw Lily Vance frantically searching for something. When she spotted me, it was as if she'd found a lifeline. Mrs. Hawthorne, have you seen Ethan Shaw? The The girl blinked her eyes and pointed behind her. Is it that weird uncle? Yes, thank you, sweetheart, you, hee, no need to thank me. Lily Vince nodded at me and hurried to the restroom. Her pale pink dress was already stained red with blood. Her lips were pale beyond what any lipstick could conceal. Ethan, what's wrong? Why are your eyes so red? Let me take you home. Lily Vince's petite frame supported half his staggering weight. They stumbled repeatedly, falling and rising again until one strap of her high heels snapped. I escorted Damien out of the banquet hall as rain continued falling outside, where bodyguards held black umbrellas ready. Chloe, now that you've climbed so high, you must be thoroughly pleased with yourself? My brother fears him, but not me. Chloe, if you have the guts, let him kill me. Otherwise, I swear I'll be the one to take your life first. I lifted the edge of the black umbrella, only then seeing the person ahead. Zach's face was bruised and swollen, his white shirt covered in shoe prints. With all those words you've said, the fact that you managed to leave the Hawthorne family dinner in one piece shows they went easy on you. If I were you, I'd tuck my tail between my legs and get the hell out of here. I stepped out from under the umbrella. Bitch, what kind of bullshit Hawthorne family is this? Trash collectors more like. Ha ha ha. Zach was kicked to the ground by the bodyguards. My stiletto heel came down on his ribs, accompanied by several crisp cracking sounds. If your bones were harder than your mouth, I might have played with you a little longer. Damn it, you bullying bastard. I slapped him hard across the face. Do you know what it feels like to have your mouth torn barehanded? I glanced back at Damien. He'd already had Jana take our daughter away. Jana was holding her, wearing headphones, with her back turned to us. Now I had nothing left to fear. Ryop, the sound of heavy rain swallowed much of his screaming. I slapped Zach's face and sneered. Go ahead, bark a few more words if you dare. Let's see just how tough that mouth of yours really is. He laughed, blood still trickling from his mouth. Not bad at all. Feels damn good. Damn tough, I muttered, rinsing my hands in the rain. I'd planned to let him go out of respect for his grit. Yet his gaze lingered on my daughter. That little bitch. Turning my head, I stomped down hard on his kneecap. The piercing of high heels struck him unconscious. What are you standing around for? If he's out cold, stitch his damn mouth shut. Yes, madam, this is how I've been battling with Ethan Shaw for 6 years. I've grown more composed, not out of options. If he thinks he's tough enough, I can play his game for 6 years. He couldn't even last 6 minutes in the end. Back then, Ethan Shaw never once cried out in pain. Neither did I ever admit to being wrong. When I was in the ICU, he knelt to feed me medicine, only to turn around and get slashed by me. He yanked out my tubes. I dug into his wounds. During those years of pure hatred, we exhausted every means but still failed to make each other die. Today was the first time Damien witnessed my ruthless side. He raised an eyebrow at me, still wanting me to continue. How much further can this go? Send him to the hospital, and when stitching his wounds, put 1,000 ounces in his bones. Understood, Mr. Hawthorne. I studied Damien's face. No wonder he wasn't frightened by such a spectacle. He was like a devil himself. Going home. All right. Damien grasped my hand and pressed a kiss to his lips. Means are meant to protect loved ones, not to be used against each other. When you gave birth to me, you left a scar on your body. If danger ever comes, this body of mine will be your shield. Not a single bullet will touch you. Damn it, where are these bullets coming from? Get lost. Back then, Damien had persistently clung to me like this. I simply couldn't resist his sweet talk. Over 2 years, he managed to smooth out all my negative emotions. He even cured my mother's leg. Though she couldn't run or jump, at least she could take care of herself. Moreover, with the nurse taking care of him, you could say this outcome was already excellent. Damien's patience and tolerance far exceeded what I had imagined. Should we get married? With just that simple sentence, I agreed to his proposal. After our whirlwind marriage, our lives became even happier than before. We soon had a daughter. I didn't want this child. I wasn't ready to be a mother at all. Damien, so stern and authoritative during the day, would come home at night and snuggle in my arms, acting spoiled. He was just too clingy, and he knew exactly how to make me happy. Once again, I couldn't resist and gave in to him. I always thought of myself as a principled and stubborn person, but my principles always crumbled before him. So Rosie was born. There's no special meaning behind the name, mainly because I ate a lot of peaches during my pregnancy. Mr. Hawthorne, madam, the young mistress has returned. Jenna held her daughter close. The little girl clung to me coquettishly. What are mommy and daddy talking about? Who's going to hit daddy? Then hit Rosie too. The daughter lifted her little face, blinking her big eyes. Mommy, yes. Daddy, yes. Rosie loves you both. Mommy loves you too. Rosie squinted, pretending to be unhappy as she looked at Damien. Where's daddy? Daddy loves Rosie. And mommy too. My daughter burrowed into my arms, secretly whispering in my ear. Mommy, Rosie loves you more than daddy. I chuckled at her words, holding her close to soothe her to sleep. After she fell asleep, Damien took the child back again. I'll do it. I held his arm and took a deep breath of his scent. Did you spray my perfume on? He asked helplessly. No, you rubbed it off me. After a pause, I really like it, I said, leaning against his shoulder. Watching the yellowish street lights outside the window, I felt grateful to him, grateful that he shone upon me like a warm beam of light, perfectly centered and unwavering. I also thank fate for granting me a storm-like echo in my life. 3 meals a day, the warmth of mortal life, our love arrived at just the right time. End.